So I'm going to be real here. Alyssa Thomas needs to be stopped. And she can only be stopped by one person and one person only. The damn referee. Well, 3 people. The referees. It's as simple as that. Alyssa Thomas does what she does because she gets away with it. It's not like if Alyssa Thomas was getting called for fouls on these plays, this wouldn't be happening. She clocks Cameron Brink in the face, who already, by the way, is playing with a face mask. If you look at this play right here, again, I'm sorry I can't zoom in much further. So basically, Cam Brink goes up, and as Cam Brink's running up and under through, it's like, yeah, the hand's straight up. But it goes up at an angle, get her in the face with an elbow. Worst, even if, look, I mean this when I say this, even if there's no history, there's no Alyssa Thomas setting a screen and shoulder barging Caitlin Clark, there's no going through Fee Collier's knee, there's no history of reckless play by Alyssa Thomas, choke slamming Angel Reese. There is a history of reckless play by Alyssa Thomas. So, even without that, this is a foul. This was given as a no call. She body bumps and clocks her in the face with an elbow. This is a foul. Look at her left leg. Her left hip. This is a blocking. First of all, it's a blocking foul. Second of all, look at where her arm is. Look at where her arm is. This is, I'm not going to say it's a dangerous play, but Cameron Brink has to just chuck it up. No call. How is that a no call? It's not even, like, she continues. If you allow, and we all said this for years, if you allow excess physicality, players will keep going and going and going and going and going until they cross the line. It's the reason why JC Sheldon feels it's okay to jump through people's knees, because she gets away with it. She literally, Sid Colson was going to pick up a ball. JC Sheldon slide tackled her, went nowhere near the ball, and went through her knee. I don't know how she didn't tear something there. Wasn't even called, I don't even think it was called as a common foul. And it is here. She makes no attempt. She makes no attempt whatsoever to get out of Paige Bueckers' way. She just rams through her. In fact, she's going left, she goes into out, and then runs intentionally into Paige Bueckers and drops the shoulder. Like, this isn't basketball. Alyssa Thomas literally, and the worst part is this is her game. It is her game to ram through people. And they literally say it in the WNBA. Players get out of her way and let her take layups because the referees won't call the charges. Like, I get it. It can hurt. But there are so many players in the WNBA that would take charges on that if it means that the other team's best player is going to be in foul trouble. But it's literally like, she just runs around hacking people and playing through people. Bully ball in the negative light. Like, what was it? Thing was basically said as much. But it was so funny. But it's all about the discourse. Like, people call Alyssa Thomas, like, I can't remember. Somebody said she's playing bully ball with us as a compliment, Becky Hammon. And they try to cancel Becky Hammon. Saying someone's playing bully ball isn't a fucking personal shot because none of these Alyssa Thomas or old WNBA fans actually watch basketball. Alyssa Thomas has zero basketball skill. She's strong, she's aggressive, and she runs through people. There is, like, the best comparison I can give to Alyssa Thomas is, and this is the most niche comparison I've ever seen, or you will know of. This is such a niche player comparison, but, and I think this is even a knock on the person who I'm comparing her to, but almost how, if you were Irish, how Lindsay Peat used to play. Like, she was not Alyssa Thomas' size, but in the Irish Superleague, like, even against when high-level Americans would come over, she would run through them. She ended up being an Irish national team rugby player. She was the Dublin GAA player. And she had a lot more skill than Alyssa Thomas. Wasn't nearly as big. But, like, she would go through you. It didn't matter. She would go through you. And that's the thing with Alyssa Thomas is, like, you have to call these as fouls. And you'll be saying, oh, but, she's a superstar. Why is she a superstar? Because she gets away with it. Alyssa Thomas would average, I'm not joking when I say this, Alyssa Thomas would average 7 points a game if they were stopped allowing her to barge through people. And it's one thing when players are scared of her and they let her go through. It's another thing when a player actually gets in perfect defensive position. Alyssa Thomas, in fact, goes into out and then decides, nah, I'm going to ram through her. And then you just know it's going to be a no call. Like, look at Kate Martin. Look at Kate Martin here on defense. Kate Martin just stops and goes, what? Paige Bueckers is just standing there. She's literally just standing there. Like, at one stage after the game, like, someone has footage of her literally praying, and it's like, Paige, like, that was game over. That was making 74-67. Paige should have gotten chucked. I mean this. Go get yourself chucked. Go get yourself chucked. If the referees are not protecting you, get yourself chucked. Because a lot of people are like, oh, does blowing the whistle stop this from happening? Yes. It doesn't stop this play from happening. But it stops Alyssa Thomas feeling like she's above the law and intentionally fouling. It stops Alyssa Thomas leaving her leg in and leaving her arm in on Cameron Brink. It stops Alyssa Thomas feeling like she's invincible when it's a common foul. When Caitlin Clark's coming around the screen, she leans over and not only sets a moving screen, arm, like, literally cracks her in the jaw. I do not understand how Caitlin Clark did not break her jaw. Alyssa Thomas did not break Caitlin Clark's jaw last year. That was the cheapest. That was, by the way, worse than the Kennedy Carter cheap shot. Caitlin's coming around, Alyssa Thomas leans over, Caitlin's bending down, bang, right to the jaw. Like, that was, in my opinion, the two most dangerous things Alyssa Thomas ever done is that and the Angel Reese pick her up, slam her into the ground. Like, they're the two most dangerous. Like, they're probably the two most dangerous plays I've seen in the WNBA. And in fairness, at least one of them was called as an ejection. One was called as a common foul, even after review. Because Alyssa Thomas is above the law. And we all talk about the Paige whistle. Alyssa Thomas is literally above the law. And whatever about Angel Wilson, they rewrite the laws of Angel Wilson. Angel Wilson 3 times last season got jump balls on what we called the Coldplay hug. Like, Aaliyah, she just reached around people. Like, it was like almost like a go-to for Angel Wilson. Like, another player would have the ball and Angel Wilson would have 2 hands around them and bear hug them. And it would be given as a jump ball. I think it happened twice with Leah Boston. I think it happened in a non-fever game. She literally patented the Coldplay hug. They rewrote the rules of basketball for Angel Wilson. But they're not rewriting the rules of basketball for Alyssa Thomas. She is above the law. She is above the law. It's as simple as that. She is above the law. She is allowed to do whatever she wants on the basketball floor, and I don't understand why. Because she is one of the worst players to watch as an individual. I thought her team was okay. Because, in fairness, like, it was just bang, 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 bang. His shooters, like, the Mercury at times were so fun to watch. But it was the same when she wasn't there. Mercury pre-Cat Copper were fun to watch because it was just, the ball goes in, we get up as quickly as possible, and we shoot a 3 as quickly as possible. It was a genuinely fun team to watch, but it wasn't anything to do with Alyssa Thomas. I get it, she was the orchestrator, but any point guard could have done that. Albeit, not every point guard, like, maybe you could argue that Alyssa Thomas playing the point center role is what freed up the space by allowing you to put 5-4 shooters there. If you want to say that, okay, cool. But, like, she's not selling jerseys. In fact, no, they were so sure that she wasn't going to sell any jerseys, they didn't even put her jersey in the Fever All-Star shop, or in the Indiana All-Star shop. She's the only player. They didn't even have an All-Star jersey first. They knew no one was going to buy them. Like, nobody, I mean this when I say this, the amount of people that are watching a game specifically to watch Alyssa Thomas play is lower than the amount of people that would show up if I pulled up on the day of a Fever game to a random park in Indiana and said, I am 1v1ing insert X. Like, let's just say again. Insert X YouTuber here. I'm playing them in a 1v1. Pull up at this park. I can guarantee you there'll be more people watching that game that would show up to watch that game. And then would go out of their way to show up and watch Alyssa Thomas. Specifically Alyssa Thomas. Why is she above the law? It makes no sense whatsoever.